Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Arakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, the Solace Truth, peace and blessings to the hopefully elect, the 100 man pushing the truth, the wholehearted sincerity, crushing four wins. It's the Akaikwa from the GMS Germany camp to the Spirit and Power behind Bahashem, Yahushai. Back with another lesson on Lord willing is edifying. This lesson is going to be entitled, Your Family Isn't Your Family. Okay? So, what do I mean by that? All right. When you once you wake up into this truth, and you become a part of this brotherhood, and when I say brotherhood, I mean you acknowledge that you're an Israelite according to the truth, according to the men of GMS, to the men who are preaching the word in truth and sincerity into the earth. All right. You acknowledge. All right. So now you stand up on your feet, you pick up your garment, you pick up your sword, and you do what? You start to do this work. All right, you start to follow after the men who have laid the path, who have paths or stones, so to speak, before you, and you start to walk that walk as well. All right, and when you start to do this, you start to cut away a lot of things in this life. Okay, you cut away a lot of things in this life. All right, and what I mean by that is that you start to go against a lot of things. You start to question the ingredients of things. You start to question the reasoning for things. You start to voice your opinion about morality. All right. You start to be called an old mindset, of a way of thinking type of mindset or something like this, 1920s and things like that. And what I'm saying is this truth starts to make you separate yourself from people. And one of the first people to know and notice it is your so-called family. The people who are near and dear to you as you grew up. All right. Because why? Because you go against the status quo, the wickedness status quo. You go against the holidays. You go against the bullshit ass ways and things that they teach our children to do. You go against the niggerdom. Against the ghetto antics and you go against the things that Jake is stereotypical for. Or labeled stereotypically about, and it's not stereotypical because Jake is a full embodiment of wickedness, man. But that's because we're under the curses. So we start to understand those things and start to try to conduct ourselves differently. And what? They turn away from you. All right. They leave you. Right. But we have a family, and the family are the men in this truth. All right. The people that are in this truth. All right. Only the people in this truth is your family. Once you renew your mind and you start to see it, you renew your heart. You try to clean your heart. You try to clean your garment, your spiritual garment, right? So come, let's get into this, man. All right. This is Matthew chapter 10 and verse 36. A man's foes shall be they of his own household. See? And that's it's going to happen right away. Especially when you start to change the way you eat, the way you sleep, how you conduct yourself, what you watch, what you intake, the things you consume. When you start to change that, what happens? The people around you immediately notice it first. Right? So they're going to go against you first. Your woman going to go against you. Your children going to go against you. Your mother, your father. All right. So what do you have to say? I mean, so what do we lean on? What is it that we can do? That can combat this. Right. We go to the scriptures. He that loveth, verse 37. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. You see? So Though you're going to have these things happen to you, what does that mean? That means if you put these people before the Heavenly Father in this truth, all right, the family, your so-called family, the people in your life, they take a back seat to this truth, to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. They take a back seat to this, you know. And when you make it known, there's going to be some riffraff, you know. There's going to be some commotion in your life, but you got to stick with it. You got to weather that storm. You got to be willing to sacrifice everything for Yahweh Shem Shai. And you yourself legitimately know if you're doing it for this truth or if you're doing it for a lesser reason. You know what I mean? You know, I'm not trying to point a finger at anyone. I'm just stating a fact. And the Heavenly Father is a discerner of all hearts, right? Okay. So he that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And he that taketh not his cross and followeth at me after me is not worthy of me. All right, but here's the key right here. Here's the key. Matthew 10:39. He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it. You see? All right. So when we came into this truth, you found your life, and you lost. You lost your life, this world. You gave up this world, man. You gave up this life. You sacrificed this life, being somebody in Esau's queendom, man. You sacrificed that. You sacrificed the time with your family. You sacrificed those weekends, putting in the work, going to see the brothers, preaching and prophesying, keeping the Pesach, trying to keep the high holy days to the best of your ability. All right, you you lost friends, you lost family members because you don't eat pork, bro. That you don't celebrate Christmas and Thanksgiving, right? And he that loses his life for my sake, why? Because we lost it for the sacrifice that Yahweh Shai gave to us to get back into this truth, to get back in good standings with the Heavenly Father, shall find it. And what we're going to find? Immortality. Okay? All right? Immortality, man. Some rulership. That's what we want. That's what we're really seeking. All right? To be put back in power. And when I say back in power, I mean our nation put in order. You know? Our nation to be put back in order, man. Our people, our tribes, our nations, our you know, our people, man. The 12 tribes, northern and southern, living in prosperity and peace with their families, not being under Esau's wicked ass rule and this bullshit ass usury, wicked ass system that is set up to just devour you from the moment you're born, to milk you with taxes, man. You know, lading you with thick clay, debt, tax. You know, your whole life, that's all you've been doing. Anyways, this is Amos chapter 3 and verse 3. Can two walk together except they be agreed? You see? All right. And because there's going to eventually be a clash. There's going to eventually be a point where you two don't agree. All right. And that's going to be inevitable. For example, you're dealing with a guy that you know he loves pork. All right. That's his favorite thing to eat. Okay. And you know that in your spirit you're not supposed to eat pork. You know the truth. You're not supposed to eat pork. It's an unclean thing. So you hanging out with him all the time. So all the time you around him, he's eating pork. And he's trying to offer it to you, and you can't keep telling him no. You keep telling him no. Keep telling him no. Then he's like, "Man, you act like you better than me." You be like, "But no, I just don't eat pork." And when you're around other people, it's going to be a clash there, you know. And another thing, let's say in the truth, right? That's why these unity camps are really weird. Okay. Whereas, let's say some camps don't teach the name, and some camps like us, we teach the name. All right. And someone comes around, you walking with this guy, and somebody comes up to you and says, "What's the name of the Lord?" I'm gonna say Yahweh Shai, and he's gonna say what? Jesus, Jesus Christ. And I'm gonna say, no, it's not Jesus Christ. He's gonna say, yes, it is. Well, that's what you can call it what you call it. I'm gonna call it what I call it. Well, what's the truth? What's the truth? And the truth is what I'm saying, Yahweh Shai. So I'm gonna fight for that. You see? So can two walk together? We're gonna stop walking eventually because there's gonna come a time where, hey, it's gonna clash. You know, just an example. Okay, so it's the same with the family. Now, am I telling you to just cut off all your family? No. Be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. All right. And be not as a lion in thine own home. Okay. What I'm saying is you have to brace yourself for the things that are going to come and weather them. I'm not saying flee. The scriptures say when thou art brought to a low estate, do not react with haste. Right. So when you are tested, don't react all hastily and just I'm out of here. No, you just relax, just let it simmer, look at the situation, listen, and just say, hey, it's no disrespect to you, mom or dad or whoever. I want to please the Heavenly Father. I want to please God. Am I wrong for trying to please God according to what is written in the scriptures? Every nation can do what they want. Everybody can worship what they want. You got people changing their sex these days. You got people saying blue is yellow and up is down, and and if I want to worship and play and read the scriptures, now I'm doing something wrong, and I'm shamed for it. See what I'm saying? Be wise as a serpent. You know, there's a way through certain things. Okay, so just be ready for these things, right? Because your family is not your family, and who? Okay, and another thing too. In this world, you gotta be in the world, right? We in captivity, so you gotta put on a face, right? Outside, when you're at the plantation, you put on a face, right? That's not who you are. You just put that face on because you have to interact with these demons and heathens, right? But who can you be yourself around? Who can you let your guard around? Let your guard down around? The men in this truth. Who can you be yourself truly? Who can you talk about your Yahweh Shai and the scriptures and what you really feel about what's going on to and without judgment. And when I say judgment, I mean like looked at like you're crazy, because brothers are going to judge you according to the law, which is right, and they should. You know what I'm saying? But who else can you be yourself around in this world? No one. So just that fact in itself shows you that the men in this truth are your family. Those are the ones who you can really be yourself with. You know, we're Superman, but we have to act like Clark Kents, right? Now you get the chance to be Superman all the time with your brothers, and you get to fly and do whatever you want. You know, right now we're limited to just studying the scriptures and flying in airplanes and going to certain or minimal locations. But imagine when there are no boundaries. You know what I mean? You know, imagine when there are no limitations. There is no money. What is money? We don't need money. We own money. Money doesn't money. It doesn't occur to us. We own everything. Because this world was made for us. You know what I mean? So, nonetheless, let's go. Let's keep it moving, man. D. mm, This is Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. All right. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord Yahweh, thy power. The Lord Yahweh That power has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. You see? So our heritage, our nationality, the Israelites, they are a special people. All right? And you have to think a true remnant of those are left right now in this earth. And those men of the men of the GMS, Great Millstone, are great representations of how righteous men should be, how we should judge, how we should conduct ourselves in this wicked ass, bullshit ass planet. There are a lot of men who are great examples of that. To strive and who have set great standards of how to conduct yourself as a man in this truth. You know, so we are holy people unto the Heavenly Father, and right now the only ones that are acting like that are the men of GMS. And there are here and there are exceptions here and there. You know what I mean? There are brothers who are affiliated with GMS that are not part of camps who preach the same doctrine. You know, not all 144,000 men are going to come from GMS. As Elder Apostle Tahara said, they're everywhere. You know, Lord willing would be of that number. Okay, but the fact that I'm saying with this precept is that, in these last days, the closest you're going to get to these special people are the ones who are in this truth. You know, so if you have the opportunity to be around them, to associate yourself with them, cherish that. You know, cherish that and be grateful and be thankful for that. Okay. Mm-hmm. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? You see, because they eventually going to clash, and you can't be equally yoked. It's going to be one righteous and one wicked. One is going to do more for the other. You know what I mean? Unequally yoked together with unbelievers, because these unbelievers, they're going to feed off of you. They feed off of that righteous spirit. They know, but yet they'll feed off of you and then go do their wickedness. Then come back and feed off of you and then go do their wickedness. You know, for what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? Like, for what reason are they hanging out together? They go against one another. All right. See, light and darkness, they are opposites. So how can they hang out with one another? So to understand that, you gotta be wise as a serpent. You know, can't just cut your mom off if you're living with her. Just shut the door and close. You know what I mean? I ain't talking to you no more. You're wicked. No, man, you got to be wise, man. Got to be wise. All right. We have to endure these things. We have to endure these times. We have to show ourselves to be temperate in all things, highs and lows. Okay. And then when you're going through these things, it's the best to do what? Seek counsel. Talk to your real family. Your spiritual family. That's what I mean. I shouldn't say real family. I say spiritual family. The family that Yahweh Shai set up for you to be connected to in these last days. And listen. You know what I'm saying? So that's just a quick little lesson, man. Oh, I got two more precepts actually. This is Proverbs. Uh-huh. 12. All right. This is Proverbs chapter 12, verse 5. The thoughts of the righteous are right, but the counsels of the wicked are deceit. The words of the wicked are to lie in wait for blood, but the mouth of the upright shall deliver them. So the point, I think I wrote this precept here because I was going into, seeking counsel, you know. And when you seek counsel from the world, from the family, from family, they're going to give you the advice from the worldly point of view. But when you seek counsel from a man in the truth, Lord willing, he's in the right truth. In it according to the 100% truth doctrine, the right doctrine. He gives you counsel according to the law, and if it doesn't have anything to do with the law, whereas it's a personal matter, you know, or it's about a woman or things like that, because those things you have to make the decision on, you know, as men in this truth, as a family member, as a brother, as a son, or as a father, or as a cousin or uncle, or whoever it may be, you know. I think it's your opportunity, it's your responsibility to relay your experiences with a certain situation, and see how and explain how you handle it, and list your highs and lows, and be straight up with about the situation, and let that person, you know, decide on whether they should take counsel, or how they should proceed with it, you know. But as a man in the truth, we don't give advice on men's personal issues. We give advice on law things, according to the law, according to what's written in the scriptures, on how you should conduct yourself. Are you being wicked according to the Heavenly Father? That's what we give advice on. When it involves, something like, personality, how I handle a woman, or this and the third, I, as a man in this truth, I can't, tell you how to handle that. I can only give you examples of how I've handled my things, and then you decide yourself for that, because you have to live with that decision. You see, and this is what I mean. This is what you're gonna find in your family. This is what you would get from a real family member: the truth of how to conduct yourself, how to grow, how to be a man, how to be an adult, how to be a man walking in this truth. Okay, so the thoughts of the righteous are right, but the counsels of the wicked are deceit. Okay, let's get that. Let's get Luke 21:16. All right. And ye shall be betrayed by both parents and brethren, and kinsfolks, and friends, and some of you they shall cause to be put to death. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But there shall not a hair of your head perish. In your patience possess ye your souls. You see? So it's simple. You're going to go through things, especially with the ones you love. All right, but have faith into your family, and your heavenly Father, and your heavenly big brother Yahweh Shai. Call and pray and beg Him, and He will answer, guaranteed. Lord willing. So with that, again, I want to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai B'Hashem Arakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, as all this truth. Peace and blessings to the whole elect. Till next time, Shalom.